Hello everyone, how's it going? Ethys here. So I was sitting down today to do a summary video for the latest live letter 32, patch 3.4 preview part 2, but it occurred to me that all the really juicy stuff is in the trailer for 3.4 that was released with the live letter. So what we're going to do today is break it down really quickly and talk briefly about each thing we see, what we know, and what we might reasonably construe. So if you haven't seen the trailer yet, check the description below for a link, but otherwise, strap yourselves in. Immediately we have this guy, the supposed leader of the masks we were introduced to in our last hints of Ida and Papalimo's whereabouts. We can safely assume that he's an Alamegan revolutionary. He is speaking before a crowd of Alamegan refugees in a setting that we'll come to in a moment. Now his stature does seem suspiciously Galilean, and this emote that he's throwing here was a favorite of old Gaius. But on the other hand, he's speaking like a zealot. He literally says, "We have a power within us, my friends, a power befitting our pride, our righteousness." That sounds to me like an incitement to summoning that reminds me immediately of the attempt by a few refugees to summon Ralga from Little Alamigo in 2.0. Furthermore, what we can see of his skin and jawline is very Highlander, so my primary suspicions right now are that he's either Ilberd or the last known surviving heir to the throne of Alamigo, Theodred. If it is Ilberd, it's also quite possible that he's posing as Theodred and using this position to basically convince the refugees to summon Ralga. He has told us already that there is literally nothing he will not do to set Alamigo free after all. As for where we are, this scene clearly takes place amongst Belladine ruins, and it is in fact the first courtyard of the sunken Temple of Khan in southern Thanalan, so it's fairly safe to assume that the crowd here is made up largely of the refugees from Little Alamigo nearby. Then we have Papalimo contemplating the Tupsamati with a female voiceover that sounds like it's probably Matoya talking about life and hope. Now this is in the Rising Stone, so at the very least we know that Papalimo will be rejoining the Scions. He might be planning something for the Tupsamati, such as destroying another soul, or he might just be thinking about Louis Soir, but I don't see Ida here. So it could be that Ida has actually decided to remain with the Resistance, given that we've been seeing Papalimo suggesting they move on, and Ida seemingly pretty reluctant the last few patches. But then we move straight into Alexander, the Enterprise dispelling its barrier and Alexander powering up.
Quite operational.
We're doing some steam jumps up to his chin, and they're fighting a Super Faust with what is probably the Sophia weapons. Second boss here looks like a kind of steampunk anima to me for some reason. We have some kind of horned chimerical demon gobby, a central core which incorporates several of the two kinds of core that we've already deactivated, and a giant ethereal lodestone defended by another transformer, and finally, as we've all been waiting for, a fight with Alexander proper in what appears to be some kind of temporal anomaly. Awesome. Apartments, they seem to be named the Topmasts in Limsa, Lily Hills in Gridania, and the Sultana's Breath in Uldar, which is a bit... aquariums, big aquariums, fish have different values corresponding to their size, and the largest aquarium can take a value of 7. We've got some new Type 0 hairstyles, some new Native American style gear, which is probably Ixali or Aura, and just a little bit tasteless in my opinion, and what appears to be the new Tombstone gear with a very Charlayan theme. I suspect this will be the crafted gear. And then we move into Zelfatol for this patch's main scenario dungeon, the homeland of the Ixali since their banishment from the Twelveswood, apparently to prevent a pending summoning of Garuda. And who should we find at the top but a priest that seems to be channeling the old hen herself. We'll come back in a moment to the reappearance of the 3 original primals, but first there's the Google Library hard mode with more copies of that one same book, although it seems some of the demons are breaking free of their hardcover binds. These fights honestly look really interesting and flashy and dynamic, and we have a Behemoth book which is crazy, and I'm going to be interested to see how we manage to explain that lore-wise. And now we've all been waiting for the time that you can 1v1 me, bro, and now there's a new pontoon at the Wolves' Den, which will be the only place you can duel currently, and subsequently we'll have about 1,000 people beefing on it at any given time, because no, it does not seem to be instanced. Hildebrand is posing as a Temple Knight, although knowing him he probably is somehow now in fact a Temple Knight. We have here our Grand Company Adventurer Squadrons, and I will explain briefly. These seem at the moment to be a lot like retainer ventures or garrisons, We can't yet run content like dungeons with our squadrons, but that is still the plan, so expect to see that in perhaps 4.0. Honestly, even if it's just like ventures for now, this is a feature I'm excited for. It's going to come with our new Grand Company rank, so I assume that we're going to be put in command of a new arm of our Grand Company's foreign levy, and that's how it's going to operate from a lore perspective with our promotion. Moving down in the Palace of the Dead, we have more of the same kinds of environments with some more voidal paraphernalia, new styled ether pool arms, and a hint at our new antagonist, who seems quite likely to be Scarmiglione, which some of you were already speculating. Sophia looks amazing, but what I'm really interested in, will no doubt be exploring in a subsequent video, is this repeated motif of these scales of judgment throughout the fight. Back to the main scenario, Emmerich tells us that power answers with greater power, death with more death, a vicious cycle fueled by fear and hatred. We see our old mate Titan under Ogomoro, but he's attacking his own people, and his eyes don't look quite right. Something similar is happening in Pagulthan, and the Warriors of Darkness are behind it. Urianger's voice tells us that he who holdeth fast under his convictions shall never count betrayal amongst his crimes, though all the world may call him villain. This could be hinting at the nefarious activities we've seen from Urianger himself recently, or honestly, he could just be talking about the Warriors of Darkness themselves, or more generally about the character of people we think of as villains like Gaius, Thordan, and the Warriors of Darkness. Either way, Alysae seems to be back with us, and she's going to tell Alphino everything she knows, so the mystery will unravel and result in a fight with the Warriors of Darkness in Pagulthan, involving at least the Warrior of Light, Thancred, Alphino, and his badass Onyx Carbuncle. And the Warriors are going to resort to using their Crystals of Darkness, or perhaps indeed Crystals of Light. And the patch title is Soul Surrender. But whose soul? And to whom? Are the Warriors of Darkness taking the souls of the Primals? Are they going to come for our soul? Are we going to use the Echo to consume theirs? Well, we're going to find out on the 27th. I, for one, am extremely excited, and I hope you are too, and I hope you're ready for some new lore content covering it all on the channel. So thanks for watching, everyone. Like I said, I wanted to keep this super brief and easy, and I'll see you in the next video.